Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mark Loeffler Experience. I think we got another great show here for you today. We're going to be talking about how to buy real estate if you have little or no money. Let's get right into it. So in my mind, there's four, and listen, there might be a bonus at the end of the video. If you hear one that's really great and you want to get started on it right away, well, definitely listen to the end of the video because there might be more than four. Investing in real estate with little or no money. The number one, and by no means is this like this is the first thing you should do or this is just four things you should do. Number 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And by the way, if you guys enjoy this video, definitely share this on your social media. We do appreciate that. Share it with your friends if you think that they can get value out of this. So the number one thing is taking advantage of, whether you're in Canada or the US, your principal residence. In Canada, you can get a 5% down CMHC insured mortgage, and you can get cashback mortgage from the banks. In the States, you can do a 3% down. Number one thing I did was I bought my first property, a duplex in Newmarket, Ontario, and that's what I did. I did 5% down CMHC insured mortgage. I did a 3.5% cashback, so I was in for 1.5%. So I bought my $200,000 property with closing costs for about $5,500. And it was a duplex in Newmarket, Ontario. So basically what I did was I rented, the rent upstairs was okay. It wasn't great. Definitely not up to my standards today, yet it was fine. I rented it as is. I bought that for around $200,000. I rented that for like $1,400 at the time. And basically, I was living in the basement for free. I had a 2-bedroom basement apartment for free. And basically what I did was I lived there for a couple months while I renovated it. So I did all the work myself. And then I went ahead and I did rent that out. And I just went ahead and did it again. So instead of using a CMHC mortgage, I now went ahead and I used Genworth, which is a private insurer here. And I did the exact same thing. So I did 5% down, 3.5% cash back on my next one. And I did the same thing. I moved into the basement while I renovated upstairs. I renovated upstairs on that one a little bit. It was a little bit worse for wear. And then I renovated downstairs. So I rented out upstairs, rented out downstairs. And then I bought another duplex in Toronto. And that one, we actually had 5% down, 4.5% cash back. So I didn't have a lot of my own money in these properties. And yet over time, obviously, like that one property in Toronto is worth, I don't know, $1.4 million. I bought it for $280 back then. I don't even know if that's true. I've not looked at the numbers. The Newmarket ones are probably worth $700,000 now. They've accumulated, obviously, I've accumulated a lot of wealth from those properties. But what it did was it got me into the game. After those 3 properties, I was kind of tapped out on mortgages and cash available. Being not the patient person I am, what that led me to do was, and the number 2 strategy is, obviously you can go ahead and use other people's money to invest in real estate. And that's what I started doing. Because I had bought these other properties and I had a track record, and I said, listen, here's what I did. Here's how I add value. And I was burring, like with my joint venture partners. Here's how I added value. And this is what we're going to do. Because then now you got to use 20% down, non-CMHC, because you can't get, well, you could back then get insured on mortgage, on rentals. And those are the good old days where you get 100% financing. Sometimes when I was doing my JVs, if you had good income and whatever. But that's what I did. I used other people's money to invest in real estate. So they would say, yep, I like the idea of investing in real estate, yet I don't have the time or energy to go find it or put the deal together, or manage it. So you go ahead, put the deal together, I'll put the money in, and we'll be 50-50 partners after the return of the investment. And so I still do joint ventures today. And I know I talked to Kellen James and I talked to like Sean Allen, and these guys are 100%, they have no partners. And I get that. And, they use private money. They use promissory notes a lot sometimes. I've always been a fan of including my partners in on the equity. For instance, so this video is obviously, I'm shooting this today to come out today. The next video I'm going to shoot today is actually going to be on the next investment deal I have out in Edmonton. And, we've even done a different structure. So now if you hear the structure, it's 50-50 joint venture partner and the investor. I'm going to tell you there's hundreds of ways to skin this cat. It's whatever you can negotiate and whatever works for best for you. So now I am doing an 8% preferred return and a 25% equity piece. So that means everybody's going to get an 8% preferred return. It's tax efficient from the perspective as if they just lent me the money, they have to pay tax on that income. Whereas this is an 8% preferred return. They go ahead and they get that 8%. We don't actually have to make a tax payment on it. And I'm not an accountant, so if this is wrong, I apologize. Comment down below if I am. Don't think I am, because we're just going to refinance it, pay out their investment plus that 8%. And then on the sale of the property is then when we would have capital gains. And their 8% is now a capital gain rather than earned income. So again, it's just more a tax efficient structure than loaning straight money. That's number two, is other people's money using joint ventures, whether that's, again, somebody lends you the money. So, you get a bank loan, you get a second, and then, you have money for the construction if that's what you're going to do. And, that definitely works if you're able to revolve that money. So if you're doing flips, it doesn't make sense to give up 50% of a property if you're doing a flip when you can go ahead and borrow all that money for a short time frame, pay all that money back and make more money. There are different ways to do this. All I'm saying is other people's money. Uncle Joe, who has a big line of credit sitting there that's unused that he could pay 2.5%, 3% on, well, he may go ahead and lend that to you at 8 to 12%. Using other people's money, joint venturing, OPM. Number three, investing in real estate with very little money. Some people call it bird dogging. Some people call it wholesaling. Some people call it, I don't know what other people call it. I call it finding deals. If you can go ahead and learn how to go out there and find deals, there is a market out there for people who don't want to joint venture, or they are joint venturing and they just need the deal. There are people out there who are looking for deals and maybe aren't, they don't want to, dig as hard as you will. So they're willing to pay you for your effort, whether that's advertising, whether that's if you're, good at the whole internet thing, internet marketing. There's people like, I had Ryan Carr on the show the other day. He's sending out 15,000 flyers a month looking for properties to buy. So maybe he gets a deal and he doesn't want it, but it's a good enough deal that some other investor wants. We're gonna have Austin Ye on again. He started a wholesaling business from zero to hero all in 2 months. He's retired from his job by doing this, right? There is opportunity out there. And by the way, if you get really good at finding deals, then the natural progression is either now you made so much income from doing these deals that you can go ahead and buy your own property. You can go ahead and house hack, buy your principal residence, put the money down, and then start building your own portfolio. Number two is one of the biggest things for joint venturing is to be able to bring the deals to the table. So if you can go ahead and say to a joint venture partner or somebody with money is, hey, listen, I'm good at finding deals. Here's the last 4 deals I did. Why don't you be my lender? I will run it. I've already shown that I can go ahead and find the deal. Why don't you just go ahead, you invest with me, and we'll go buy deals. In my mind, deal flow is almost more important than the money. So if you get really good at it, you can then transition the bird dogging into investors coming investing with you and building your own portfolio. And so everybody's going to ask where to start. I would definitely just get into these investing groups. They're all on Zoom right now. You got Rise Network, you got the Right Club, you got Onria, you got Rain, you got a whole bunch, you got Durham REI, and these are just to name a few. There's Ottawa Small Real Estate Investors Group. You can get there and just be around people who are doing this. Find somebody who is doing this, say, hey, what can I do? Maybe it's, Maybe you're going to cold call, maybe you're going to door knock, maybe you're just going to send out flyers. If you learn this strategy and you do this well, this will serve you for the rest of your life, number one. Number two, it will help you attract money at the end of the day, because you're going to find somebody who says, I love your deals, yet I don't want to be the active investor. And then you can be the active investor. Number four, I like to call it real estate arbitrage. There's two ways of doing this. Is you can go ahead and if you're in the States, they might call it a master lease. And we're going to have a couple people on, Aaron and his partner, who are going to come on, and they're going to talk about this as well. And what they do is they'll go and find somebody who has a fourplex and say, hey, I'm going to rent it to you for this, from you for this. And you're going to have no property management. I'm going to take care of all the maintenance of the inside. Like, I'm going to take care of like cleaning it daily. I'm going to do all that type of stuff. I'm going to pay all the heat, hydro. You have no costs. I'm going to take care of all that for you. And obviously that's attractive for an investor. If I own a fourplex and I don't have to pay a property manager, well, there's 5 to 8% I don't have to pay. I don't have to worry about vacancies because I'm renting the whole thing to one person. And what they go ahead and do is they rent it short term on Airbnb. All they have to do is provide typically first and last and furnish the property. Typically, when I was talking to them, in their first month, they're paying back. They're obviously paying the rent, all their expenses plus. So their goal is within 6 to 7 months have the furniture paid off. In the first month, they pay their rent, so that's not even a cost. The last month rent is obviously a deposit, yet you're still out of pocket for it, and the expense of the furniture. So their goal is within 6 months to have the furniture paid off. So I don't know if you're doing the math here, but that's a 200% return. If you find enough of these over time, like, this is a great way to invest in real estate with very little money down, almost zero credit. And you prove this in one duplex, fourplex, whatever, then you can have that. It's again the same with a joint venture. You have that track record now to go over to this new person and say, hey, this is what I did for them. I'd like to do it again for you. Is that okay? And the other thing is, most investors don't just want to buy one property. So if that works on that property, they might go ahead and buy another property and say, hey, do you want to take care of that one as well? So you can grow your portfolio over time doing that. 200% return. And once you've paid off the furniture and the deposit, you can go ahead and take that money and go do that again. So within a year, you can take that fourplex, turn it into 8. Within the next 6 months, you can take that fourplex and turn it into 16. And you can compound really quickly doing this because you get great cash flow. And so that's real estate arbitrage. The second version of that is to go find something, again, long. You can do this in cottages as well. If somebody doesn't want the hassle of renting short term, yet they might want to rent their property, they're not able to get there, just sitting vacant. So you can go ahead and rent it from them long term and then do the real estate arbitrage on that as well. The other thing is, if you find somebody and they don't want to, it's a different way of managing it. You can say, okay, I'm going to manage this for you, and I'm going to rent the whole property. Again, you're not going to have any hassles. I'm going to pay all the utilities, and I need a discount because, again, you don't have property management. I'm going to do the lawn for you. I'm going to do the snow. So I need a discount on the overall rent. And then they go and rent it long term to people as well, and they make the difference. So a little bit less upfront, and you don't have the deposits because you're getting the deposits in from the other tenants. So that's a way to do it as well. I like the short term because I think the cash flow is just that much better. And then number 5, the bonus. You may or may not think this is the greatest one ever, yet building real estate wealth, a lot of this comes down to, like, I was able to get my mortgages and do all that because I had a job. So I know a lot of people out there want to go build this real estate wealth, but they don't want to go get a job first. I'm going to tell you, building real estate wealth, if you have a job that has a salary that's going to allow you to go ahead and get mortgages, it's going to allow you to do a lot of these things that you're not able to do if you're self-employed, again, not able to get mortgages. When I started on my entrepreneurial journey after I got all my first couple properties, the reason why I joint ventured is because I couldn't get mortgages because I wasn't employed. I wasn't employed by a company, and banks like that. They like to have that solid thing to be able to say, oh, if this person doesn't pay, well, they're working at the bank, they have no problem. They're working, they're a teacher, they're a dentist, a doctor, whatever it is. Well, that's not going anywhere, so they'll be able to pay us back. No big deal. So that's the bonus strategy in all this. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. And again, share this on any social media you think that people might find this helpful. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.